Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Are you feeling charitable then? Smash the subscribe button and the like button, and please do follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome as we talk about Green Lantern's future on the big and small screen. Now, back in the day, pre the Frankenstein's Monster of Justice League, so pre-2017, there was going to be an original plan for David Goyer, the writer of Man of Steel, the co-writer of Batman vs. Superman, to write and direct a Green Lantern tale. I will tell you what it was all going to be about in a minute. Those things quickly changed when Geoff Johns was made Chief Operating Officer at DC Entertainment, and it was announced that Geoff Johns would write and develop a Green Lantern movie. It will be called Green Lantern Corps. It will be Lethal Weapon in space. Right. So what's actually happening with the future of Green Lantern on the screen now? Because we know how important this is, not only to DC and Warner Brothers, but AT&T. Because Green Lantern is literally Star Wars. It's Star Wars at DC, right? That's what it is. And so what are the plans now? So Geoff Johns wants movie Green Lantern Corps, which we haven't heard anything about, because it is now a straight-to-streaming TV series over on HBO Max. So that's where it's going to be. A very expensive project. So because I know there's a lot of confusion about this, right? This is Geoff Johns and Greg Berlanti's baby. They're very tight, those two. Obviously, they worked together on the original Green Lantern movie as consultants. In fact, Greg Berlanti wanted to direct the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern picture, and he didn't get to do it. Be interesting what kind of a film it would have been. Would we have had the CGI animated suit? I suspect we still would have had. Anyway, so Geoff Johns' Green Lantern Corps, Lethal Weapon in space, which would have two of the most prominent Green Lanterns, of course, Hal Jordan and Stuart, what's his name? I forgot his first name, but you know who I mean, right? So those two, kind of a buddy-buddy, cop, kind of Lethal Weapon in space, buddy thriller. Very exciting. I'm very excited for it. This is great, and I'll certainly will be checking it out when I have availability for HBO Max. So that's a great project. So that's that. So then you're asking, well, what happens? Will there ever be a Green Lantern movie? And I think we are going to go in quite an interesting kind of direction. A few years ago, David Goyer did pen a script for a Krypton movie. So we had the TV show, which he was a little bit involved in, but it would have been a bigger thing on big screen. And he wanted really to bring back Michael Shannon and Russell Crowe as Jor-El and Zod in a prequel movie about Krypton, and when they were friends and everything was a little bit different on Krypton. So he wanted to do that. That got scrapped very quickly as less confidence was in Zack Snyder's vision. And then they tapped him to write and direct a Green Lantern movie. So what was this Green Lantern movie going to be? Well, if you look at how he wrote Krypton on Man of Steel, it's very similar. So this is about the formation of the Corps. This is how they came to be. And this is how it happened. You know, it's set on Ohar, and just to see the formation of that planet, how they became the Lanterns, how they got the Lantern, how they got the rings in the first place, how there were so many of them, and how they're an organization, right? And that was what that movie was going to be, very prominently on Ohar. So I think it would have been an amazing movie, a deep movie with dark, deep cuts to see the formation of the Lantern Corps. And it's something I would have been really, really excited about because, as I've said before, this is a very, very important IP to everyone. Whether you're Warner Brothers, AT&T, HBO Max, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows that this can make them a lot of money. There's a lot of interest in Green Lantern, right? So if you have Geoff Johns' Lethal Weapon in space on HBO Max, right? And then you've got David Goyer's movie, cinematically, maybe it can be a trilogy or something, right? Now, because I think the stars are aligning back to the way they was pre-Justice League 2017, I think that David Goyer will return to do his original vision for this Green Lantern movie, whether it'll be called a Green Lantern movie or an OHA movie or whatever they're going to call it. You have to give it a recognisable title. That's very important with IPs and movies these days. But I think if this is the plan, and I hope this is the plan, because Jeff Johns' Green Lantern is definitely the straight-to-streaming TV series. That's where it is now. It's not the film. He's written it. He's rewriting it. They're working on it. The funding's there. It's going to be in production very, very soon. And so that's awesome for that. And even though Jeff Johns is obviously got questionable morals because of what happened with Justice League and Zack and all of that, he is a very creative writer, a great comic book writer. And I certainly would be really, really excited to see what he can come up with. But I do think a David Goyer written and directed Green Lantern movie would be interesting. Now, of course, David, I don't know, has he ever directed before? Maybe he's done TV shows. I don't know. But definitely it's something that's quite interesting. But it could be even more interesting if David develops it as a writer and a storyteller, and maybe Zack Snyder could direct it. Imagine Zack Snyder and David Goyer together again on a Green Lantern movie setting the origins of OHA. Wow, that would be amazing. And I think a lot of people would want to watch that movie. I want to know down below what you think about that. Will you be watching Jeff Johns' Green Lantern Corps straight-to-streaming TV series? Forgiving and forgetting everything else? Would you be interested in a David Goyer Green Lantern movie looking at the origins of OHA and the Lantern Corps? I certainly would, and I'm sure lots of people out there would be as well. Now, that's that. So I wanted to do a DCU extra to talk about that, but also talk about this. There seems to be, I've mentioned the divide within the fandom, but some people in the fandom seem to not want to fight for the air cut. I don't understand this mentality. What's wrong with you people? Do you understand? The air cut is part of the Snyderverse. It's part of Zack's vision. There's elements and Easter eggs that click onto Zack Snyder's Justice League. Do you understand that? It's Zack Snyder who brought David Ayer to write and direct the Suicide Squad movie. This is the Snyderverse. You fought for the Snyder Cut. Why won't you fight for this? It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And if I ever see anyone on my timeline telling people not to fight for it or saying it's not worth fighting for it, it's a different situation, it's not. It's the same situation. We're fighting for the same thing. And I'm sorry. I think people should be able to do whatever they want. But I ain't going to follow you. I don't want you on my timeline if you don't want this, because it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, give me your thoughts down below about all of this, and I'll read them a little bit later on. Comments down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.